Hello and welcome to my studio journal. Now back in 2022, I started to redesign my home studio, shifting from software to hardware for the first time. What began as a few videos for some curious students soon became an ongoing unfiltered record. One of the things I noticed was that the Yamaha Modi X7 was quieter than all the other instruments. And it turns out, unfortunately, it's that hum destroying box. So once that's removed, it's the right volume for everything here. Before I push everything back, I do want to see that some of this other stuff is working. Okay, so now it's up to testing this system. When I take the DeepMind and patch it into the MPA2, we should see some action in kind of like that center digital area there. So plug these two in, and it looks like we have liftoff there. All right, so that seems to work. So now let's move on to, if I plug it down into the VLA2, what's going to happen? Should see some movement there as well. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to test out the Pro VLA2. So if I plug in the DeepMind 12 into these two, we should see some action happening. And we do. So that means that's all working right. So far so good. All right, now we're going to take a look at the SCL2 up here, the VCA compressor. When I plug everything into that, we should see some action on that compressor. And it looks like we do, so it looks like that's set up correctly. All right, so now we're going to try the Trans-X mic preamp. As someone pointed out before, there is one problem with the Art Pro patch bays, and that is that they have an automatic loop, which means that if you have a compressor hooked up, it's automatically feeding itself. And so, like if I unplug this, everything goes crazy. So I really can't do that. If I plug them back in, everything goes back down. Now if I take the DeepMind, plug it into here, we see action. So it looks like this is set up correctly. So now we're going to look at the Trans-Y. And once I plug in the DeepMind into these, let's see what happens. We should see some action. Again, if I do that, it looks like we do. So it looks like this one is set up correctly as well. Just tested the EQs, and the EQs work. Now there's only one other thing that I have to test before I can just put all this back under the desk and all connected and hooked up. I have to take a look at all three things. I have to take a look at the Akai Force, the Machine Plus, and the SP404 over there, because I have to make sure that each one of those samplers has been connected so that I can feed stuff through the patch bay into them to sample. I have the DeepMind set up, so now I'm just going to plug it on into the Akai Force inputs, and let's see what happens on the patch bay. All right, so we got action there, so it looks like that's working as well. So next up is the machine. So all right, if I connect the synth up to the Machine Plus's inputs through the patch bay, let's see what happens. Looks like we got action there, so that's all set up as well. I was going to show the meter on the SP404 MK2, but it doesn't have a meter, so there was no point in that. But I did check the audio, and it is coming through. So now it's just a matter of putting the top on this thing and shoving it back under the main desk here and putting this all back into place. Here I thought I tested everything that there was to test, and then I realized I didn't check the Volt 476 interface yet. So that's next on the to-do list. Okay, let's see if this is working correctly. Now, if I connected this correctly through the patch bay, when I plug them in, inputs 1 and 2, we should see action on channels 1 and 2. And when I plug them in 3 and 4, we should see action on 3 and 4. Okay, that seems to be working fine. But what about the outputs? We have the inputs set, So if the input is coming in on 1 and 2, let's say, we'll see 1 and 2 light up, as well as the output for 1 and 2 light up. And now we'll switch it to 3 and 4. There we go. Now 3 and 4 is lit up. So the outputs seem to work. Can't do it, of course, through the patch bay because the patch bay, it's not like an actual mixer. You have to use a plug-in. So it looks like everything is all set up on the interface now. If you'd like to follow the full journey, check out my online studio journal linked in the description. Until next time, I'm just a music teacher having fun. Catch you on the next one.